Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well and having a lovely, lovely day. Well, I am celebrating because we have come to the end of our Quilt Along, our block of the month. Excellent. So if you've made it, give yourself a round of applause as well as give yourself a pat on the back. Well done to you, and I am extremely proud of you that you have accomplished this, because I know sometimes it can be a little bit difficult when it comes to quilting because we need to find the time to get it done. But if you've made all of your blocks and you're ready to see how I have put mine together so you can have some creative ideas to put yours together, by all means, here it is. And I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody, and I'll put all of your names on the screen. They may whiz by a little bit quickly, but thank you so much for joining the Quilt Along. And without you, this could not have happened, because it's boring me doing a block of the month on my own, but when you join in, it is so much more fun. So thank you very much for all of you who have definitely taken part. It has been an absolute pleasure doing this, and I look forward to the Christmas Quilt Along. So thank you very much, guys. It really has been really awesome doing this with so many people, and I look forward to seeing your quilts. Okay, so let's get on with it. I'm going to show you the layout. I think I have recorded all that I possibly can to help you create yours the most easiest way that you possibly can. And I will also show you the final layout of the quilt. And yeah, I think that's it. So without further ado, let's get started on this beautiful layout. I must admit, I'm happy with it. It's beautiful. Let me know in the description box down below. And before I move on, which is very important, I must remind you that if you haven't signed up for the Christmas Quilt Along as yet, please do so today. Don't leave it till late. We are starting on the 31st of August, and I don't want anybody to be left behind. So join up today. I will put all the details on the screen for you. Also, the link will be in the description box down below. And if you haven't subscribed, what you're waiting on? Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy all of the content that I actually bring for you. So, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. This is one of my first layouts of the blocks. I haven't completed making all the blocks at this stage. So I would advise you to play around with your blocks before you settle on the layout that you want. Take pictures of it, rearrange so that... What is your problem? Rearrange over and over again. Take pictures at every stage, even make a little video so you can look back before you are happy with it. We are in the 1st of July here, and we haven't even finished, but I am looking at the blocks here just to make sure that I know where I'm going with it. If you notice in the middle, I have changed around the flowers, and I've put them, all the flower heads coming together. Remember, this is the individual block here. So just to be sure that you're happy with your layout, okay? All right. All right, so here's another layout that I came around with. I mean, I've decided was to try the candlesticks in the middle. And I must admit, I do like what I am seeing here. However, I will be adding some extras to the quilt, obviously, to fill out the center and the sides and to fill in the middle there also. But I am loving this one. I do think I will move the blocks around again just so that we have some, ideas of how you want to go ahead and lay this out. But notice that I've moved the tulip blocks to the corners. And I must admit, overall, it gives a really nice presentation with it being in the corners. I think it looks better in the corner. Okay, so you can choose to add either the candlesticks to the corner or the tulip box to the corner. But I think overall it looks really nice the way this is. I am going to change around the candlesticks in the middle, and then I'll show you again. another leg of the candlesticks spun around, but this time it has the candlestick going towards the corners in the middle, and you've got that triangle on point, or sorry, square on point in the middle. Do take note though that whatever is on this side here, it's a reverse order on the other corner up there, and each is opposite or diagonally opposite each other for the quilt blocks on the side. One of the reasons why I changed, because I did like the layout of having this sort of creation in the corners here from the tulip blocks. I did like that effect there, and I felt that worked really well. Now again, you can do whatever makes you happy, is your quilt. I'm just giving you ideas. So what I am going to do is to choose a variation in the middle. I mean, you can even choose to, if you wish. Let's play around a little bit. Put these there. Like so. Let's just move those around. And instead, you can just put a negative space in the middle. But I think that looks odd if we do something like that. I do like the effect of bringing it back together. You can even bring it back together and still put a sashing in the middle. So for example, okay, what we can do is bring it together. Let's say we leave it about 2 inches apart. Sorry, 1 inch, yeah, 2 inches, I reckon. 2 inches apart each way. And we can put a sashing in the middle with a cornerstone in the middle, or just a sashing in the square there. Whatever makes you happy. It just gives another variation outlook to the block. That also will come about really nicely. But the ultimate finishing of putting the blocks together is yours. You know, I'm doing this so that you have ideas of how to create your quilts independently and really bring yourself into it. As for me, I do feel that creating a quilt is about your creative nature and seeing how you feel with how things work and playing around with the blocks. We can always go back to a different layout, or you can even mix the blocks in the middle. It doesn't necessarily have to be these two. Let's try that before I choose. I want to put some other blocks in the middle and see what it looks like. That doesn't look bad at all, actually. That's not a bad image in the middle for the quilt at all. And then obviously you have these ones here at the side. Let's try another set and see what the whole thing looks like. Again, just giving you ideas. Play around with your blocks, have fun with it, and see how creative you can be. We're just focusing on the center at the moment, so let's just play around with those and see what images we like so far. That's a really creative pattern in the middle there, actually. Let's try again. This one doesn't look bad, actually. I'm kind of liking that pattern in the middle there also. I mean, obviously, once you sew the whole thing together, it's going to look so different. So different. I did add those blocks at the corner, at the bottom, sorry, as well as the top up there. And the size obviously has now changed. But overall, you still get a beautiful presentation of the quilt. Looks pretty awesome. But so guys, I'm going to decide on which layout I want. Obviously, I will share with you the measurements to fill in and whatever idea I do. I am actually thinking, if I'm not going to do what I'm thinking, otherwise I've end up may change there. Let's try one more. I'm curious to see what this block would look like in the middle with this one here. I'm really loving these blocks here. Gives it a sort of a plain overall look, but again, still striking, still will cause someone to focus on it. Looks really good still. I am going to try one more, and then I keep saying that. I'll try one more. All right, so I've added the entwine and I think the tulip block in the middle together. I must admit, I am happy with this, actually. I like this. Yeah, and I like where the blocks are to the side. I do like where the candlesticks are. But again, you can swap those around back to the end as we had it originally laid out. And notice the tulips at the top there is sticking out. I think it's tulips. Yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm happy with the one in the middle, but I think I prefer the candlestick in the middle, to be honest. That's my personal preference. I do like the candlestick in the middle, and I do like the Sarah's block as well in the middle, but I think I like the 4 candlesticks originally. The second layout of the 4 candlesticks is my personal preference, and well as having where the other blocks were on the side, I was quite happy with that. But if you look at it though, if you're looking at it from this way, you can see that because I've laid the candlestick to the top, you get this sort of triangular or diamond on points with the whole quilt. If you look at it, if you step back and look at it, can you see it where the points sort of meet and you get like a diamond, you know, like that, going up and going down. Looks really awesome. So these are the things I would like you to think about: the overall layout and what secondary patterns you may possibly get. One of the things I was going to say, and I thought I wouldn't say anymore, but the fabrics that I'm going to add, the blocks that I'm going to add in the middle where the gap is, I was thinking of adding some cornerstones. So whatever fabric I do here, I'm going to do a cornerstone here. So let's say, for example, I do white. Let's say, for example, I put a white strip there and a white strip there, and I can easily go back in with this color here around for the thicker part and continue with the white around it. I hope that makes sense to you. So put like, say, the cream here that represents the candlestick. I'll add about 4 inches, okay, and then 2 inches of the white, so it looks like it's frame around. But in the corner, add a snowball. I do have a little bit of the actual prints still. I have some yellow and I have some purple. I think I've got a little bit of a black, but I can easily do a snowball, and I'm sure you would have the same in the corner there. And I think that would really bring it together really nicely. Just bringing in those triangular shapes still into the middle of the quilt with the items of fabrics you're going to add on into those negative space. Yeah, but I think it looks pretty good. I must admit, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I don't want to add any more blocks to it. Some of you might say, well, why don't we just make another 2 set of blocks? I don't want to do that. I would like to frame up the middle block. I always like the middle block to stand out because I think that's the focus of the quilt. Hence the reason why I want to put the candlesticks back in the middle, or you can add, I think is your tulip block here, back into the middle, or do a mixture of 2. But for me, I do like that pattern there. I definitely, you know, like that sort of diamond you get with the overall presentation of the quilt. Yeah, I'm really liking that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and I'll show you the stages. And of course, the details will be in the description box down below for you to complete your quilt up. All right, so it's time for an update. I've stitched the squares together, the blocks together, with a sashing in between, a crosswise sashing with a little snowball in the middle or a cornerstone in the middle. All right, and what I've done is to add a border to here, the top and bottom. The next thing you'll need to do is that I've used a leftover piece of strip to add my 2 middle blocks. Well, I should say my 4 middle blocks on. Okay, so the other one is already pinned it on here, as you can see. So it's at the end of the border of the candlestick large block now. And I've stitched it on here in the middle. It's the same size as this one, which of course that makes sense. Otherwise it wouldn't fit. Okay, so what we're doing is fitting these 2 together, the middle block and the end blocks together. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to now pin this one here to the end And I have arranged them opposite, making sure that I have the orientation that I originally had. So I have my Sarah's block here, and it's in the corner there, and opposite this block here. All right. So front sides together. I've pinned this. I'm going to do the same for up there, and then I'm going to stitch it together. I have the other blocks. I've moved down to this area in the back room now, which is easier because I was walking backwards and forward to the front of the house. And so here is the other block. So they're all stitched together now, as you can see. So that middle row I just showed you is going to be falling right into the middle there, which makes it so much easier. All right, so I'm going to do that. So the next time you see it, the quilt top will be done. Let's get on. A quick tip before I go. When you're doing either of these sashings and you get into the middle, make sure you fold over like so to make sure the to make sure the strips line up properly. All right. So as I've pinned it here, I will make sure that it transitions over nice and straight, so it's not wonky. So just line it up, make sure it sits nicely, the seam lines, and then you can pin and then stitch it all together. So I'm going to do the same for this one here. So line it up like so. When you flip it over, it must be the same. You want to see that transition, that seam line transition all the way through. All right, and it must not be wonky. So just take your time and double check that. Pin it like I have done here. Very important. So this quilt is completed. It measures 60 by 50. And I think it looks bloody gorgeous. Look how beautiful it looks. As you can tell, I added all of the tulips to the corner rather than in the middle. Of course, it's your quilt. You can arrange it the way you like. It's entirely down to you. And in doing so, it has created a sort of a curve around with that shape, which looks pretty awesome. I've opted to put the candlesticks in the middle with some sashings in between, followed by a little cornerstone in the middle. But I think overall it looks really gorgeous. I also sort of mirror image the rows on the end. So as you can see, they're not directly opposite each other, but I think it looks really awesome. Again, on the same side here, the different layout. I mean, not entirely huge difference, but it looks pretty good. I also opted to add an inner border there as well on this side as well. Let's go in and have a look at the quilting. So I did wishbones there on that big area, that huge space for quilting there. And I just did meandering swirls all over the blocks. Looks pretty awesome. Everything has come out really beautifully. For the center block, I did do dot to dot quilting. So that looks really good also. Yeah, overall, very pleased with the outcome. Quilt looks beautiful. I went for a purple binding, and on the back, I added a very beautiful floral. Really lovely. Really, really lovely colors for the floral on the back. Very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. You can see some of the quilting on the back as well, but we got to go really close in to spot it. But lovely. Very nice. A nice sofa throw quilt. So back on the front. From this distance, you can really see the beauty of the quilt. It's just pretty amazing. Very beautiful. The whole layout is just lovely. And I love the way you get that sort of diamond shape in the middle with all the tulips on the end. Very, very beautiful, guys. I hope yours come out the same. Do like and subscribe for more, and of course don't forget to subscribe and join up for the Christmas quilt along. But this looks absolutely gorgeous. A very beautiful, beautiful quilt along. I think we all did extremely well. So lovely. And again, you can see all those quilting, just perfect. Simple, but perfect. I don't think it needs anything too dense for the quilting, nor too small, because the stars, the blocks, is what really makes this quilt. Really gorgeous, really, really gorgeous. Beautiful quilt. Beautiful, vibrant colors as well. Works really lovely. And I'm happy that I placed the candlestick in the middle and the tulips on the end. I'm just loving the layout. Well, anyway, don't forget to sign up for the Christmas quilt along, starting on the 31st December. I'll put all the details in the description box for you. Bye for now, happy quilting, and I cannot wait to see yours.